Welcome to Friday Beyond Spotlights, where we invite leading minds and game changers with incomparable experience and unique knowledge to come on our lighthearted yet informative show. We aim to help business leaders and the wider community gain insights, grasp opportunities, and see behind and beyond spotlights so we can get a full picture, dream bigger, and achieve more together. I'm your host for this episode. My name is Nick Chen, a lawyer and lawmaker with technology background. Friday Beyond Spotlights is honored and pleased to present to you our guest today, Mr. Anthony Liu, Director of China Resources Science and Tech Research Institute, a member of the China Resources Group. Established in Hong Kong in 1938, the group has for years shouldered major responsibility in ensuring food security, safety, and supply throughout Hong Kong and beyond, enabling cost-effective and environmentally friendly farm-to-table food chain. In the process, they help alleviate poverty in many parts of the world. The group is one of the first investors and inventors in FoodTech, ranked as one of the top Fortune Global 500 companies. There are now more than already 8 publicly listed companies within this very diversified group, way beyond consumer products. Anthony, welcome to Friday Beyond Spotlights.
Thank you for having me, Nick. It's a privilege.
Well, Hong Kong is a mecca for some of the best Chinese and international cuisines from all over the world using the freshest ingredients. Hong Kong is also one of the major centers for food trading. Anthony, can you share with us some interesting facts, figures, and insights?
Thank you. Mecca is a very precise description of Hong Kong, being a position of global dining industry as well as the food ingredients trading center. Hong Kong is the fusion hub of global culinary delight since 1970 when the economy took off. It started to attract a lot of talent in culinary and from around the world, and in the meantime, they brought in those food ingredients to Hong Kong as well. And from 1990, when the reform of mainland China started to gather pace, and thus the economy boom start to materialize, and there were a surge of demand of food ingredients as well as consumption of premium food. And Hong Kong has been a pioneer of introducing those talents and consumption styles as well as food ingredients to Greater China's market. And in terms of a market figure, actually the trading volume through Hong Kong, and not just for Hong Kong domestic consumptions, as well as to that of China, it's massive. In 2016, there were only 580,000 tons of bovine products imported to China. And in 2021, given the disruption of supply chain of COVID-19, there are still 2.3 million tons of beef import to China, which puts it at the largest importing countries in the world, exceeding $12.6 billion US dollars,
Wow.
which is amazing. And interesting, Hong Kong, as a city of China, takes up over 60% of the overall import to China. So it's amazing that it's just for solely domestic consumption. So Hong Kong people love meat, love good quality meat,
Yes.
and they love food.
There were times in history where there weren't enough food after the war. How did your group company help out in such a situation?
In 1951, and Feng Hong was established, and that was the predecessor of China Resources Feng, which is now a subsidiary of China Resources Group. And this company has been dedicating solely on the food consumption business and agriculture products, exporting and trading and now distribution. And there were discoveries that in Hong Kong that there's a surge demand of food produces in Hong Kong due to the rapid recovery of the economy after the Second World War. And to prevent any shortage of supply to Hong Kong people, the central government, under the guidance of Premier Zhou Enlai, ordered a joint task force led by Commercial Department and Railway Department to facilitate a free high-speed train delivery program. And in Hong Kong, Feng Hong was designated as the single trading company to helping distribute these products in the Hong Kong's market.
That's terrific.
Yeah, and the free high-speed trains designated as 751, 753, and 755 originated departed from Shanghai, Wuhan, and Zhengzhou, and shouldering the responsibility of transportation of the meat, poultry, vegetables, and food products to Hong Kong. And specific measures were implemented to ensure the unhindered traversing of the cargo shipments across the country to
Free
which
trains a day.
Shenzhen, yeah, 3 trains a day. And ever since the train was established, was started to take off, it has never been suspended and stopped until 2010. And in 2010, because of the modernization of the supply chain network and logistics, and also there are ferries, food ingredients has been transported to Hong Kong through very easy ways. We have done a summary that they have accomplished over 40,000 deliveries and having over 100 million livestock delivered to Hong Kong, as well as 1 billion poultries. So that's a great effort that has been proved. Yeah.
Truly mission accomplished.
Yes.
Anyway, what goes on behind the scenes to facilitate cost-efficient farm-to-table food chain these days?
For the last 2 decades, actually, a lot of the new technology has been adopted in the farming as well as supply chain and logistics. So we actually witnessed the modernization of the agriculture. And for us to see, actually, there were two major aspects of technologies has been adopted to this industry and to promote its modernization. The first thing is big data and artificial intelligence. So in the future, actually, I talked to a lot of experts in this industry as well as some great entrepreneurs. And we both agree that one day it would be a truly demanding-driven economy of the food sector. Is for people's individual consumptions can be predicted and maybe can be forecasted, and then we have more accurate way of having this growing and supply side change so that it can be more accommodated and more environmental friendly. And the second thing is on the physical side of growing and transportation, logistic of the food, and how to deliver and how to process this food and to the table, of every consumers. And a lot of massive planting as well as growing technologies has been applied. Even in China's market, mainland China's market, we see a lot of involvement of drones, for example, and doing fertilizing task. These technologies have been applied to the market. So that will change the business model of how we supply food and deliver food to every consumers.
Can you share with us what kind of companies, technologies, entrepreneurs do you invest in, and what are you looking for?
We're looking into new, sector of business development. Because after the big data, the artificial intelligence, we are trying to connect artificial intelligence with the manufacturing, with the service sector, and having this mechanical, even robotic science are ongoing. So that's why for our strategies, we have this research institute. Firstly, it's for commercialization of some technologies that in Hong Kong, and to connect it to the market and to place it into the node of the supply value chain of tech industry. Especially, we would focus on bringing this tech to China's market. We have to connect it to the Chinese market and converge with China's manufacturing as well as tech, base. Only in this way we can facilitate a successful startup in Hong Kong. At the meantime, we use this institute, which is not 100% investment arm on the tech, but also like to facilitate and to help those engineers, professors. So that's what we do with the research institute. We do cherish the position of Hong Kong and also its unique culture. And now we have a very successful system, one country, two systems. So this is a system that we do cherish, and I think it would have much more important functions and also playing a very important role for the new generations of the country's development. So we're excited to see that.
How would you rate Hong Kong in terms of talent pool or access to scientific research institutions like major universities?
Well, I think it's 9.5 out of 10. For me, Hong Kong is perfect already, but I see the potential as well as opportunity for Hong Kong to go even higher in terms of the enlarge of the talent pool and also the better position in the global value chain and also the versatilities of industries that people can have in Hong Kong. Because a lot of young talents, they want to do what they like, and we need to have more industries to support their growth. So this generation, our generation and the next generation, we should not be intimidated by global competitions. Through competitions, we can introduce more enterprises to Hong Kong's market, and then we, being an intermediary, we can connect mainland China and the outside world through competition.
What advice would you give to young people who are interested to follow your footsteps and become an investment professional, to invest in technology companies, entrepreneurs, and to assist with commercialization of technology to improve the food industry and the wider community?
I think the first thing we have to remember, just like our predecessor, is our responsibility. But that sense of the weight of responsibility has to be deeply rooted in the younger generations.
Right.
That relies on our generations to work out these problems. We have to work hard and fight hard to take good care of our elder generations, our parents, grandparents. At the meantime, we have to do more, to create more opportunities and having more path for our younger generation, and also being a role model as a responsible person. And only this way we will keep our moral compass high and keep driving us forward through the dark times.
Thank you, Anthony. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Friday Beyond Spotlights. We have with us today Mr. Anthony Liu, Director of China Resources Science and Tech Research Institute, a member of China Resources Group. Who is Anthony behind the spotlights? What defining moments in his life shaped him into who he is today? Let's learn more. In this show and tell segment, we go behind and beyond spotlights. As our special guest today, Anthony, show us an item that has a special significance, shaping him into who he is today, forging him with that lion rock spirit. Anthony, did you bring that item?
Yes,
Dim sum for me?
even better.
Oh, you have to explain that.
These are laboratory tweezers, and they're my friends and my teammates, and see me through my academic years to finish my PhD degree. When I joined the Manchester University as an MPhil student, that was my first time engaging in real-world scientific research. I had no idea what that was, because before that I was simply doing undergraduate studies, and now of course I know, every day when you're doing research as an MPhil or PhD, you're actually exploring the territory that has never been explored before. This is the first thing I got in the laboratories, given by my supervisor. I was doing nanotechnology studies and researches, and we tend to deal with very small objects. And with these tweezers, we used to clip and take samples and keep transferring it in the size of 0.5 millimeter times 0.5 millimeters. And on top, we would have over 200 devices in microns scale. We cannot see that under the microscope. Under the optic microscope, we cannot see that. And on top of that, we make nanoscale devices through different techniques, and which is what we do on the substrate. And that's what's the importance of our research is. This is the tweezer that accompanied me through that. Initially, when I was first time picking it up, my hand shakes a lot, But now, after 10 years, I think I can still hold it quite steady.
You can use it like a chopstick.
Yeah. And the final project that we engaged, it was a combination of theoretical calculations as well as my experiment, which is on ultra-high frequency detection devices, and it was a breakthrough. And we had a lot of calculations based on various arithmetic models. And I did a lot of devices that I was confident with. So we booked laboratories in Justin. And for that, it opened basically for once in a year for institution. For example, at Manchester University, we just have only one sections for an overnight experiment. And I set up a very consistent experimental plan because I had made these devices before, but I assigned one of the postgraduate students to do 3 steps for me. And I did, for example, I did it on Wednesday for the whole day. And then I tasked him to do that on Thursday. And then I'm supposed to pick it up at the evening of Thursday to finish the final step. And then I can take a sample and go home, have a good sleep, and then travel to Justin. However, as soon as I take out a sample and I check on that, I was shocked and really in dismay because I have to explain a little bit because it's on the photolithography method to get to the micron base to the micron scale base of the devices. And we can't see the micron scale in the optical microscope.
With a naked eye, you can't
Yeah,
see.
so the whole mask, they were gonna alignment mark, several alignment mark in the scale of millimeter. We have to use that to keep the alignment. But that student, he turned it in a mirror-like, upside down. So basically it's all misaligned. So usually if I have time, I would just redo everything again. But then I have no time to do it. It's only 4 hours before you can go to the airport and then go to Justin. So I have to try to see it under the optical microscope to try to align the scale of microns into the substrate. And that's beyond the human capabilities. I remember I tried 5 times, 6 times, it all failed. And the final thing, it was just 1 hour from the time I have to get to the airport. And somehow I succeeded. I don't know, it's just like 6th sense or something that I just get it. And it's one of the finest alignment I've achieved during my whole experimentation. So it was great, and I rushed to the airport. And I have never been to Justin before. I haven't never been to the laboratories before. It took several hours flight to Frankfurt from Manchester, and then took 2-hour trains to the Justin downtown. And we grabbed something to eat in the downtown because my colleague and my teammate, Dr. Bolocco, told me there's nothing in the laboratories they can find to eat. So we have to buy food on ourselves. And then we spent 2 hours driving, to the laboratories. And finally, we started to do the experiment. And Claudio was sick that day, and he got a flu. And at the midnight, he started to vomit. And that was a very dire situation, because at the meantime, we found out there is some adjustments on the programming we have to do. It is really intelligent work involved.
That's his role.
Yeah, but he was sick. But he basically hold on to himself and get it done. And I focus on the experimentations. And just 1 hour from the ending of the renting period he had, we got it done. We got a result. And it was excellent result. And it is 100% to support our theory. So that was a big lesson for me. Nothing comes easy. And it's supposed to be difficult, it's supposed to be impossible, and very high chance of failure that you will face. The only thing that can get you through is you don't know, you try, you keep trying, and you have this will and perseverance to keep trying until you get there, until somehow you get a result. So that's what drives me, even today when we dealt with difficult situations, and how we steer through it.
Would you still delegate those first few steps to the young students?
Well, nowadays I would say yes. At the end of the day, you have to trust other people, and you have to cultivate and work with other people, and having a room for them to make mistake. And the business world now, it's not on your own, because for academic research, it's more on the physical side of doing things and more or less rely on yourself, your intelligence. But in the business world, there are a lot of uncertainties that you have to rely on your teammate and trust your teammate. And the only thing you can do that is you let your teammates or let your subordinates to have a room to make mistakes, so that they can learn, so that they can be part of your team and really can get the things right in the future. I think that's very important.
So before you get the results right, how many failures did you have to go through, and what lessons did you learn from that?
Well, in the first year, I counted, it was like 20 times in the first year per week. But in the latter half of my PhD studies and my postdoctoral research, I completely lost count of that, because failure is every day. It's basically constant. It's constant and continuous in your lifetime during research. Yeah.
But never give up.
But never give up.
Thank you, Anthony. As we reflect on the past, introspectively look at how Hong Kong and the world is today, and we gaze into the future, what's in store for us?
I believe Hong Kong should remember its role as the intermediary and window between the world and mainland China, especially in the time of uncertainty and with potential geopolitical risk and the climate and natural disaster. And Hong Kong still should be deeply connected to the world, and seizing these opportunities to grow and having a thriving culture in Hong Kong and stay optimistic and believe in ourselves that we can create, we still can compete and make things happen. That's what we should believe.
Thank you, Anthony. Now we come to the fun part of the show. We're going to fire some rapid fire questions at you. There's no right or wrong answer. Please just answer what comes to mind. Are you ready?
I'll try.
What is your comfort food?
My mom's soup.
Favorite dish that you cook?
Spanish paella.
Favorite sport?
Jogging, yeah, mostly jogging, yeah.
Last book that you've read?
It's a classic of poetry, analysis of classic of poetry, which is a canon, in traditional Chinese culture.
First job?
Postdoc research.
Who do you admire the most?
My father,
Where would you bring new visitors to Hong Kong?
St. Regis, Wan Chai.
Your hidden talent?
Making lousy jokes.
Talent you wish you had?
Playing piano.
What is your proudest moment?
Get my results right when I was doing my research.
Nicest thing someone has said to you?
You are a good person.
What was the last thing you searched online?
COVID-19 measures in mainland China.
What would be the title of your autobiography?
Winning is good.
What are the qualities you admire most about your parents?
Perseverance and deep beliefs in the goodness of mankind.
What is your biggest fear?
Height. Yeah.
Your advice to your younger self?
Work harder, play harder.
What legacy do you wish to leave behind?
To truly make a good enterprise in China resources.
How will Hong Kong look in 5 years?
Bright future.
Thank you, Anthony. Anthony, could you please share with our audience your suggestions or well wishes for Hong Kong?
Hong Kong is exuberant, robust, and dynamic. We want to make things happen and get things done. Please come and join us and support Hong Kong.
Thank you all for joining Friday Beyond Spotlights. See you next
See
time.
you next time. Thank you for the interview, Nick.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on to the show.
And this is my special collection. Hope you will enjoy it.
I'm sure I will. Thank you. This is very fitting. You know, Chinese have a saying, 以茶会友. It's our custom to build friendship over tea.
Very much indeed.
So we're going to share your special tea today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To friendship.
To friendship. Cheers.
Cheers.